We all want to feel peace in our lives. Peace in our choices, our beliefs, our relationships, and our environment. I've learned that this desired contentment is often found through holding on to less. When we pare down what we own, what we consume, and what we value, we're left with what's intentional, a personalized curation of what is important and true and useful to us. I'm Shannon Leyko, and you're listening to Paring Down, a podcast aimed at helping you declutter not only your home, but any area of your life that's overwhelming. Here, we're having interesting and honest conversations about the physical and mental clutter that drowns out what truly matters to each of us. And together, we'll learn how to pare it all down, not for the sake of perfection or becoming rigid, rather so we can move through life with less overwhelm and more joy, wisdom, and peace. I'm so happy to have you guys back this week because today marks the start of our next mini-series here on Paring Down, and we are doing Paring Down Travel. So as we look toward summer specifically, which is kind of what I have in mind, I'm personally trying to figure out what our summer looks like. So anyway, that's kind of what I was thinking about when I decided to focus on travel for a little bit. But hopefully this will be helpful for whatever time of year or whatever type of travel you'll be doing. And today we're going to be talking to Kira K. Dixon. Kira is a former Miss America. I knew her back when I was Miss New York. She was Miss New York 2 years after I was. So it was this time in the New York pageant world that was like very exciting because the year that I became Miss New York was because Mallory Hagan won Miss America. And then I took over as Miss New York from her. If you don't know that story, I'll share it another time. But anyway, so I was Miss New York 2012. And then Mallory became Miss America 2013. I crowned Nina Davaluri Miss New York. She went on to win Miss America 2014. And then she crowned Kira, at the time it was Kira Kazantsev, Miss America 2015. Anyway, the point is that there were 3 New Yorks in a row, and it was record-breaking. That had never happened before, that the same state won Miss America 3 years in a row. And it happened to be the time that I was there and involved with the organization. So that's how I know Kira, and she is just a gem of a person. But she is far more than just a former Miss America. She is currently a broadcaster for NBC Sports and the Golf Channel. And she traveled last year. I think she says she'll share on the podcast like 30 weeks out of the year or something wild. And when she was Miss America, she traveled even more than that. So no one knows how to travel more smoothly than Kira. She has her master's in specialized journalism from USC Annenberg and lives in the Bay Area with her husband and their dog, Steve. You are going to absolutely love her. You're going to love her insight on how not only to pack light and stick to routines if that's what feels best for you, but really how to maintain a sense of self that's practical while you're on the road. Because Kira is like the coolest. Her style is always just, I don't know. I've been influenced by her so many times, and she's not even an influencer. I'll DM her and be like, where did you get your jeans? Where did you get that workout set? Where did you do this? Because she just always has the coolest sense of style. It's like very classic, but at the same time, very unique and vibrant, I guess would be a good word for it too. I don't know. I just think she has a really good idea of what works for her, but then she's able to do it in a way that's not overwhelming for her suitcase, obviously, because she's on the road all the time. Per usual, I can talk about my guests forever because I think they're the greatest, which is why I'm having them on. But you actually want to hear them talk and not just me talk about them. So let's do that. Oh, I wanted to let you guys know really quickly that we had some serious technical difficulties on my end. I don't know why. My computer just kept kicking me out of the studio when we were recording. So you might kind of catch on and hear some weirdness that you wouldn't normally hear in my podcast. And I apologize, especially right at the beginning. And then maybe throughout, you might notice that I disappear sometimes if you're watching on video, or maybe Kira's laughing and you're like, why is Shannon not laughing with her? That's so rude. It's because my computer was rude, not me. It recorded her perfectly, but kept kicking me out for whatever reason. So sometimes a transition here or there sounds a little bit abrupt, and now you know why. But shout out to Kira for rolling with it. Like, seriously, a true professional. She was still so fun. And it was such an enlightening conversation to give us a little bit behind the scenes of a professional traveler. And so thank you to her for still making this like an excellent episode. So anyway, okay, I felt like you guys needed to know that going into this. Here we go. Kira, thank you so much for taking out some time to come on the podcast and really just to catch up, because we just discussed it's been 8 years.
Oh my gosh, so much has happened in 8 years. It's so good to see your face.
It is so good to see your face too.
I love
Starting
awkward.
again, round 2, because technology hates me. Okay, so you were about to tell us a bit about who you are and what you do.
Hi, my name is Kira Dixon, and I'm a Gemini vegetarian.
Important to say that twice.
Yes, and in my spare time, I'm a broadcaster for NBC Sports and the Golf Channel. I do work primarily in golf and Olympic sports. And the reason why we know each other is because I am of the Miss America family. I was Miss America back in 2015 and Miss New York before that, as you know. So we go way, way back.
Way back, totally different lifetime. I'm sure it feels the same for you, even more so, I'm sure, for you. You're like, what in the world? It's so cool, though, to like kind of see where life takes us, because at the time, I feel like we're all in this little bubble together, and everyone then just goes in these like separate directions. But everyone really does do pretty impressive and amazing things. Like all my girlfriends from Miss America are all like killing it. So it's a cool club to be part of.
Yeah, I think that most of us have like very type A personalities, so they're not just like sitting idly by. They're doing something.
You are not wrong about that. Okay, so today I wanted to have you on because both during your year as Miss America and then now what you do as a reporter, did you say reporter? Is that the right term for what you do?
Yeah, you can use what I usually say broadcaster because it's like more general. Because sometimes I host in studio, sometimes I'm a reporter, sometimes I'm all these different things. So usually I just say broadcaster. But you know what? You can call me whatever you want because I don't really know.
So you travel a lot for broadcasting, which is really exciting. 1 million weeks per year for that.
Last year I did 30.
And then 1 million weeks per year, basically, for Miss America.
That one is you're in a different city every 2 days. You travel 20,000 miles a month. The only times when I had off from quote unquote traveling would be I think I had like 5 days over Christmas and a couple of random times in like February and March where they didn't have me booked and they would just dump me in a random hotel in Atlantic City. Let me tell you, it was bleak. It was a tough time. Anyway, that's a different story. That's a different podcast.
Let's start there. What did you find to be like the hardest part of learning to live on the road constantly?
Well, I mean, I think that after a while, like you're constantly around people, but you're still pretty lonely. And it's like kind of it's certain parts of it are like amazing and glam and the most incredible experiences of your life. But most of it is a grind, and you're going from one IHOP to the next to do meet and greets. And so, you just kind of start to feel it. So that is like keeping your enthusiasm constantly at 100, because they would always say like, if somebody meets you, it's probably going to be their one and only time to meet a Miss America. So you have to give them the Miss America experience. So it's like being Mickey Mouse or something. You can't take your head off. You gotta do it. You gotta give them the whole thing. So, and sometimes if you're not feeling good or you're tired or you just got off a flight or a red eye and you're just can't, you got to dig deep for the enthusiasm. So I found that to probably be, and like I've got a lot of energy for that, but it requires your deepest energy for people, which is great, but hard. And then when you
really
get back, but hard, yeah. And then you get back to your hotel room at night, and I would just like stare at the wall for hours just to try to, because I'm kind of like an extroverted introvert. Like I needed to recharge my batteries and feel like ready to go again the next day. And like you can't really get the food that you want. You start to feel kind of gross. Like maybe the gym that you're at is in the hotel is like meh. Like you just, those like creature comforts, you just have to find a way to work through them. And like I would travel with like all my own, like I always have my, we might get into this later, but like my skincare products, like my, like all the good shampoo, like never using the hotel trash. Like I travel with slippers and like, you know, my nice cozy pajamas, like a pair of cozy socks and a little sound machine. And like, but those are things that I've learned along the way. Everything I do now, I could probably link back to things then that like I wish I had this or that. Like I travel with bags of tea, I travel with melatonin, I travel with magnesium, I travel like all of the like I have a little mini skillet that because I like to make breakfast in my room. I always get groceries when I'm traveling. I did have a travel blender, but TSA recently took that, so we are not in a good place with TSA. So, but but that's all like stuff that I've learned along the way, and like to just try and stay like healthy and energized. Because if I'm healthy and energized, then I can do this forward facing job, whether it's Miss America or being on live television. Like that's the main priority, is finding ways to keep my energy up and keep myself feeling healthy and not like crap. Because since Miss America, I've never stopped traveling. It was almost like it just became my life. And then now I've still, you know, 10 years later, it's my 10th anniversary this year, Shan.
Is it really? What? I mean, that makes sense, I guess. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my 10th this year. Um, I just still haven't stopped traveling since that happened. But like, so I will say for clothes, at the time we had a sponsor, Joseph Ribkoff.
That's right. So you did
I
not
love
get
my
to
JR.
choose what you wore, really.
Well, I found a way to choose.
Okay. Via the sponsored clothes.
Yeah, yeah. Like they would send like you could look through like the website and stuff and like pick what you wanted. And like I would I had a good relationship with them, and they would set, they knew what I liked and whatever. So they would send you a box on wherever you were on the road, and you would like pick out the things that you wanted. You would then take out the old stuff, and I would either UPS it home if I wanted to keep it, or I would just UPS it back to Ribkoff, and they did with it what they did. Who knows? There might be some people out there that are wearing my old
That's
Ribkoffs.
so
Who knows?
interesting. Did you feel like you
Um,
couldn't express
yeah.
yourself given that you didn't have like full reign of, I mean, the clothes you could wear, you were allowed to wear?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really care. I made it work. Like there's, you can always, you know, Tim Gunn says, make it work, honey. Like you just gotta do what you gotta do with what you got. And we did. And like they were willing to work with me, and it was great.
Did having a limited amount of stuff, whether it was when you were Miss America or currently as a broadcaster, do you feel like that has simplified your way of living? Has it made life easier, made you look at things a little bit differently, or not so much?
So my current travel philosophy in terms of volume is, it's taken me a while to get here. If I am going for 7 days or less, I am only taking a carry-on and a tote bag, and the tote bag then becomes my work bag throughout the week. Um, and if I'm working a regular week for the Golf Channel as the reporter on the ground at a PGA Tour event, let's say, for example, last week I was working in Palm Beach for the tour event there. I Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I can wear whatever I want, business casual. So those are the days when I'll usually wear like a fun suit or a vest and wide leg trousers, or like something that I'm like, I have the opportunity to express myself, because like I love clothes, I love fashion. And it's, you know, it's fun to make golf feel fashiony, which it feeds. And then
You
on
do a really good
Thursday,
job at it, by the way. You make me want to wear golf clothes. I'm like, wait, why does that look so chic?
golf clothes are like legit. Especially, I'm really into court sport fashion right now, but we can talk about that later. Once the tournament starts on Thursday, we have to wear sponsored like Golf Channel gear for the show, for the broadcast.
Screech! Hi, it's me, Shannon. I'm popping in to tell you that this was one of like the 10 times recording where it went wonky and kicked me out of the studio. And instead of trying to edit it like in a seamless transition so you wouldn't detect what's happening, I'm going to play what Kira did right after my computer made me disappear, because the world deserves to hear it. So this is when I am gone and she's just left waiting for me to come back from oblivion.
I lost you, Shannon. but I miss you so. I hope that when you're editing, you love the song I wrote for you. 'Cause I'm feeling blue, 'cause you're gone. Oh man.
It's like automatically started recording again, so
Well, I hope that you it continued to record. I sang you a song.
oh no, no, you were on a roll too. It's like a great answer.
No,
Okay.
we'll go back. We'll go back.
Oh my God, Kira, thank you so much for being you. Okay.
All right.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da. So,
Thursday, when the tournament starts, we have to wear Golf Channel logoed shirts that are like sponsored, which whatever is fine. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I know that I need one shirt for each of those days, and then I have a pair of what I call my reporter pants that I have like 5 pairs of them, and I'll bring two of them. So I'll wear one pair twice and then another pair twice. So I know that I've got like whether my dress or my suit for the first 2 days, and then I've got 4 shirts, 2 pairs of pants. I only bring the exact number of undergarments that I need for all of those things. Maybe like one extra pair here and there if I like go really hard in the gym or something like that and need to change. I have I don't know if I could, those like zip uppy thing, the Amazon thing that like
oh
zips
yeah,
up and then
the travel
you hang
pods.
it.
Oh no. Oh, I know what you mean.
You
The
you
on
can
your door.
you can hang it on the door and it's like a quad fold.
Yep. Yep.
I'll send it's I you know what I'm talking about. I'll send you the link just in case. But I have all my toiletries in there, so it's like, it has the little handles, then you unzip it and then you can hang it on the door. I've got all my toiletries and my makeup in there. Pair of pajamas, comfy socks, sound
And that's all you
machine,
need.
mini skillet. You gotta have your
Mini.
mini skillet.
What do you make on your mini skillet for breakfast? What is that? Like eggs?
I no, that's you can, but that's like a whole thing. I don't have time for that in the morning. But I love like a piece of I'll go to the grocery store and get like naan bread or Ezekiel English muffins or something like that. Just so I feel like I need like a warm comfort thing. But I hate going downstairs. So we stay in a lot of like Courtyard Marriotts or Marriotts that don't have great breakfast options, or it takes forever, and like we're not doing this. So I have like a Greek yogurt and a piece of this Ezekiel bread with bitchin sauce and then maybe like a hard boiled egg on my room and cold brew with whatever milk I get. I can't decide if I'm a real dairy girly or not, but that's a journey.
It's a
So
whole
we're going through
journey.
that. That's a whole journey. And my tea at night and like that. Oh, 3 pairs of shoes. I can get 3 pairs of shoes in this situation. So that's for one full week. Sometimes I'm on the road for 2 weeks or 3 or 4 or 5. So I'm about to leave for a 2 week stretch on Sunday, this coming Sun well, whatever, soon. And in that case, I do check a bag because then in this case, this trip is going to be a lot of studio hosting for one of those weeks. And that means like a nice dress every day. And like there's just, 2 weeks on the road without a lot of like workout clothes and more shoe options. Like I need more things for this particular work trip. So then I'm checking a bag, which is, the worst when you've been traveling because I live in San Francisco, so a lot of the golf stops are on the East Coast. So you've been traveling for 6 hours, and then you have to stand there and wait for your bag. And the airline that I travel on generally loses everything all the time. So, it's a journey.
Oh my gosh. No, just going down to carry-ons whenever possible changed my life because I was never just a carry-on girly. And then I pared down my whole life and I was like, I'm going to do this whenever possible. And it's just
Yeah.
the amount that you have to worry about them losing your bag is just not worth it. I'm like, I will wash my underwear in the sink if I need to, by gosh darn
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't take
Oh,
it.
that's a Miss America holdover if I've ever heard. You just gotta make it work. Yeah, but if I have a carry-on, I am more nimble in terms of like, oh, maybe I make my flight earlier, or I want to take a different one, or like you don't have to worry about like, oh, I already checked my bag, but this flight's about to take off and they've got a spot. I can't get on it at that point. So it just makes you a little bit more on your feet.
Yes. Okay, so what do you do when you have a week that's like a little out of the ordinary? I mean, I'm not above name dropping on your behalf. So I'm talking about the weeks that, you're like going to golf with, I don't know, Tiger Woods, Justin Timberlake, Jimmy Fallon. Give me the deets. Do you pack extra special? Because I mean, I certainly would.
So the celebs love golf. And so you end up meeting people that you have truly no business hanging out with because of golf, which is why I always recommend that people take it up and play it because it takes you to wonderful random places in the world and gives you a wonderful life. So that's my golf pitch for you. But it, so this event that you're talking about with Justin Timberlake is called the 8 a.m. Invitational, and they just have lots of different events throughout. Like, you start with golf in the morning, which that requires its own set of accessories, outfit, shoes, blah blah blah, and then there's like an afternoon thing and then an evening thing where you're going out in Vegas. So like it's just a lot more stuff, accessories, earrings, shoes, myself tanner, like you gotta have it all for that. It's different if you're traveling for a vacation or for something special, or if you don't travel a lot and you're not as comfortable taking all of that stuff out, which I get it, I understand. Like when it's your literally 30 weeks a year, you just like physically it's hard for me to lift that suitcase every single time into my rental car. It just becomes physically grueling. But I think that in terms of overpacking, like I've very much stopped caring. I mean, I still like look nice and put together, but like, who cares if I wore the same sweater 2 nights like, no one cares. These people that are in this Capitol Grill that I'm never gonna see again, cool. Like, I just, the reason we do it is because of our own, or I mean, I won't put anything upon others, but if I were to do that, it was because of my own, like, oh gosh, like, what is this person gonna think? Or like, I'm going out to dinner with some of the executives from my company, blah blah blah. Like, no one cares. This it's like golf. Um, Everyone's always scared to get into it because they think that you're judging you, when in reality, everyone is just super self-absorbed and thinking about themselves, and they haven't noticed you at all.
Okay, so let's get into some practical tips here because you've mentioned a couple. But I had questions about certain things. Do you plan outfits around the same,
Okay.
like shoes? Let's talk about planning outfits because you have a really great sense of style. I'll never forget actually when Aaron met you. It must have been in 2016, or maybe he saw a picture. I don't remember. But I know you guys met at one point. And I remember him being like, out of all the Miss America girls, because, he was bombarded that night, just surrounded by all these like beautiful women. And he was like, whoa, Kira really stands out to me. Like, she carries herself really well. She dresses so cool. Like, I remember him being like really impressed by you. And yeah.
Wow, thank
And you
you.
stand out. Like, even your
Wow.
Miss America gown, you had like a prelim gown versus your nightgown. And both of those were just so different than anything else we were seeing at the time. So I think
Yeah.
you kind of have a sense of who you are and how you express yourself with style. I've bought multiple things
Yeah.
actually that you've worn. You had that yellow set from what is
For a
Foray
golf.
golf clothes. I
Yeah,
bought golf clothes.
golf clothes.
You sold
Look
me.
at
You
you.
sold me.
I'm so
Oh,
proud of
thank
you.
you so much. But for the women who struggle with understanding their own sense of style, what can they do to not just like bring it all in hopes of slapping together something cute? Like, do you plan around shoes? Do you switch up accessories? What's your approach?
I make the same shoes and accessories work for all my options. So for work, whether it's my business casual days when I'm wearing a suit or my days when I'm wearing my reporter pants and my Golf Channel shirt, I'm generally wearing Air Force Ones or some Adidas, cushy, thick sneakers. And I wear those types of sneakers or like Nike Air Maxes with my suits as well. Because I mean, to me, like I think it kind of looks cool to wear a suit with a sneaker. Also, you cannot be walking around a golf course in a heel or a loafer or anything like that. One, from a practicality standpoint of just like it's grass. And two, like you cannot walk on a putting green to talk to somebody and like make indentations in the greens, and also there's just so much like sometimes it's super hilly and it's a lot more walking than anybody realizes. So I just wear like cool sneakers. And then I wear those same cool sneakers to work out. And then I wear those same cool sneakers to dinner. and I wear my same earrings during the day. Like I don't need a ton of different options. I don't bring jeans. I never travel with jeans. They take up too much room. Um, all of my other pants fold down better. Yeah, I bring like a cute top, my going out top, my millennial going out top, and that's that.
um, okay. So are you someone who likes routines in general? And if you are, like, how do you keep those other routines? Packing aside, like working out, eating the kinds of things you like, um, how do you stay disciplined in your routines on the road?
I try. It's a constant battle, especially depending on like because every day or every week I could be waking up at different times or our shows are at different times or just my level of tiredness could be different. So I'm adjusting for all of that. Um, I try and it's not like I try and this is a new thing that I'm doing. I'm trying to go to workout classes on the road instead of working out in a hotel gym because I find that for myself, I just don't do as well on my own or like I just kind of like mail it in. But if I go to an Orange Theory class or a core power yoga class, like I know that I'm going to get a good workout and it will be a great use of my time. But and then I always at the beginning of the week, I either go to Whole Foods to get groceries or I order them ahead of time on Amazon and I have them delivered to the hotel so that I don't even have to worry about that. And like that's a no matter what thing for me. And that's just such a behavior that I've established for myself that I can, like I know that that's happening. But throughout the week, I am the type of person where if I put so much pressure on myself to do it correctly, I my mental health just really is not good because I start to feel angry at myself, guilty, like, oh my gosh, like how could I have not done this? Like you're weak, you're not disciplined, blah blah blah. And I've, worked through that and it's kind of like an acceptance of like, okay, I was tired today. I didn't go to core power or even make it to the hotel gym. Like that's okay. I'll go tomorrow, or I'll at least stretch, or I'll at least do something. Like I just, I try to stick to my routines, but if and when they inevitably don't work out, we'll try again tomorrow.
And good for you for that, because that speaks to even what I share about with routines when it comes to taking care of the home, right? Like we have to find what works for us and not be so stringent that we paralyze ourselves or develop a sense of shame around routines that are really just supposed to be there to make us feel good and help us, not stress us out even more. So, as we kind of close out here, what's the big picture thing that travel has taught you about yourself?
We just don't need so many things. Like you're fine. Like, those things weigh us down physically and emotionally sometimes. Like I just don't have time to make decisions in the morning about what I'm gonna wear. I'm freeing. You know how they what's his face, Steve Jobs or like any of these high power CEOs, right? They just like wear their uniform every day or whatever that is, your black turtleneck, because you don't want to spend any of your extra brain space of like figuring out what you're going to eat for breakfast or what you're going to wear or whatever. Like those things are just established. You just do the same thing all the time. I do that as much as I can just because for me to make words happen on live TV every day and like coming up with the content and all like just it takes so much brain power for me that I just can't do the others. Like I can't focus on curating this perfect outfit for my evening out. Like I just don't care. And there's some freedom in that and like there's no worrying about who's going to think what when I show up if in this shirt that's maybe not like perfect for the season or whatever. Like I don't care. If I'm comfortable and warm, that's all I care about. I will caveat this with like obviously I care what I look like on TV and like putting together certain outfits ahead of time, but I'm not bringing a ton of options. Like I've done that ahead of time and put in the work ahead of time so that when I get there, I am good. I know exactly what we're doing every day. Like I don't want to give the impression that I like don't care about my appearance because like obviously I spent a lot of time working on that for the whole being on TV thing. But in terms of like everything else, like no one, no one bats an eye if you're not showing up perfect to dinner.
Yeah, yeah, and even more so, like it's refreshing to hear that you can be at your best, look your best, present yourself professionally or just socially really, really well, and you don't need a the clothes, like a ton of different clothes in order to do that. Like women's closets tend to get overly filled, and I get it. I love fashion and clothes so much too, but I feel like there is so much freedom if you're on the road and you're like, I have these 2 outfits and I know I look good in them. I know I feel great in them. I know they fit
Yeah.
me well. Like I want my closet to feel like that. That's my goal. I want to walk in my closet and know that anything I choose I'm gonna feel really, really good in. I don't need a million options. I just need like the options that make me feel my best, which is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing that you do and that you have, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the final questions that I ask everybody, what is something that you are currently paring down, trying to get to the bottom of, whether it's, it can be decluttering or just something that you're like really paring down belief wise in your life, anything like that.
I think I pick up a lot of things on the road, or like random events, or like people send you stuff to try, or like I buy something for that I really loved for like one event, and it's just not I'm probably never going to wear it again, or it's not, if I'm not wearing it in the next year at least, like it's just sitting there. So I would really love, and I do this periodically, but I would really love to just like really edit and thin out what I have in my personal closet of my clothes. I also have a downstairs separate, like complete golf shoes, work closet that's separate from like my regular clothes. And I could probably get rid of like 50% of both of those things, but so I just periodically, like every month, try to get rid of as much as I can. And like in our garage, like the random ball, like golf balls or head covers, or like all these golf accessories, like little kitschy stuff that just kind of accumulates constantly. Like we gotta let it go.
Yeah, I can only imagine how much you get in your line of work. Okay, and what's something you're really looking forward to right now?
Um, well, in the immediate, I have 3 whole days of absolutely nothing. And I'm gonna hang out with my dog, and I'm gonna hang out with my husband and just be. Um, and also separately from that, my motto for this year, Shan, you'll appreciate this, is I'm not tired. So I just am looking forward to like trying, especially on the road. Like I tend to be a creature of my hotel room, and I just like go back and like order my DoorDash and like not do anything. Like I want to participate more in things. I want to like take advantage more of the things and people and events that I have access to. And that requires me to not be tired. I'm not tired. So I am looking forward to more of not being tired.
The Shanny the granny side of me is rooting for you. Okay. Last, where can people find you on the interwebs?
At Kira K. Dixon, I think on everything. It might be just Kira Dixon on Twitter or TikTok, one of those, but usually if you type in Kira Dixon, I come up.
Yay! Well, thanks a million for coming on and for dealing with all the technical difficulties. You're just the best.
Thank you. Thanks, Shan. Thanks for having me. I love seeing your face.
You just listened to an episode of Paring Down with me, Shannon Leyko. If you enjoyed the show, it would mean the world if you can leave a review wherever you listen and share this episode with a friend. Those reviews really are what keeps a podcast on its feet for the long haul, and I will read every single one with a huge smile on my face, so thank you ahead of time. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe. Also, be sure to follow along on Instagram at Paring Down Podcast, where I offer lots of tips and inspiration for paring down, along with what's new here on the podcast. Till next time.